The Honda Accord had a light refresh for the mid-cycle in 2021. Today, Matt from Regal Honda has given us the 2022 Honda Accord Sport 2.0 liter in your Sonic Gray Pearl. The modern mid-size sedan has a lot of competition. It even scales all the way up to a BMW 330i. You have competition with Toyota Camry, with the Kia K5. And in this segment, there's just a lot of different vehicles to choose from. Is this one going to be the more practical, the more performing, with the cutting edge cabin styling that they have? Is it going to have all the technology and safety that's going to compare between all three of them? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The Honda Accord is going to have a modern, sophisticated styling. It's going to have that flat hood that's going to make it easier to see through the front windscreen, especially the way the front window is. The A-pillars are pushed back a bit, so that way it gives more of a luxury flair. And again, safety is really the key here. If you are comparing it to the BMW 330i, the Kia K5, or the Toyota Camry, the styling cues on this one, unless you're talking about the TRD spec or the turbocharged K5, it's going to set itself from the three. You're going to get a horizontal bar there on the gloss black for a larger grille that's going to integrate into your projected LED headlamps for your low and high beams. On the lower part of the sporty bumper, you're going to get some functional side air curtains, which are fog lamp assembly, with a touch of the gloss black that surrounds that fog lamp. And the ground clearance is still at 5.8 inches, so you're going to be able to go over your speed bumps without any issues. It's not overly wide at 73.3 inches, and it's not necessarily the tallest, but I like the sleek profile look at 57.1 inches. And the aerodynamic lines on the hood help with a lower front fender that's going to enclose these 19-inch 5-spoke machine finish aluminum alloy wheels with the gloss black insert, the front disc rating at 12.3 inches, the rear at 11.1 inches. The front is going to be a McPherson strut suspension. Multi-link rear suspension, both the front and the rear will have your coil springs and your anti-roll bars with the length at 196.1 inches, wheelbase at 111.4 inches. The gloss black inserts on the side view mirror caps and between the windows. The gloss black on the side gives that sporty styling, and I like the aerodynamic line proportions on the side because it really does make it sit and stand out a little bit more so than your regular Toyota Camry or your regular Kia K5. If you go into the TRD, it's going to be a little bit more athletic on the lower skirt. The same thing for the Kia K5. But the proportion layouts, larger side windows with the smaller corner window in the rear, so it's going to mimic the refreshed Honda Civic, wraparound D-shaped LED tail lamps, the gloss black on the shark fin antenna and on the spoiler lip. Dual chrome exhaust outlets with the gloss black that's going to pinstripe between it, so it gives a nice touch of sportness to the rear. When I am looking at this one and looking at the Toyota or even the Kia K5, I like the luxury slash sporty styling you get. Again, when you go to the TRD spec, it's going to get a lot more aggressive into the rear. Going into your cargo, it's going to be the largest unless you're comparing it to that BMW 330i at 16.7 cubic feet. There's some storage underneath the floor with a spare tire. The rear bench split folds at a 60-40 split that's going to max the cargo, but you know, we have a turbocharged 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but Honda does pack a little punch. Start it up and hear that exhaust note. The Honda Accord is definitely a great blend for a mid-size, modern, sophisticated sedan. And at the end of the day, it's a very practical, yet sporty and luxury all blended in. The fact that we can even throw in names like the BMW 330i is insane because the price point, you're talking thousands more. Honda backs the performance with a 2.0-liter turbocharged inline four-cylinder, producing 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. No longer offers a manual transmission on the Accord adaptive damper system that's only going to be on the touring trim, achieving 22 to 32 mpgs, 0 to 60 at 5.5 seconds, quarter mile at 14.4 seconds, stopping distance from 60 to 0 at 114 feet, and a top speed around 116 miles per hour. Now these numbers, to go back to the Kia K5 and the Toyota Camry, or even the BMW 330i. The Kia K5, your base engine is going to be slower. However, if you up it to the 2.5-liter turbo, it's going to be just a touch quicker. Toyota Camry, same thing with the base engine. TRD, it's still going to be slower than this. BMW 330i is 0.1 seconds faster, something to take in consideration when you're looking for a luxury slash everyday vehicle. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Honda Accord Sport 2.0. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, take this for our test run. Entering inside the Honda Accord Sport 2.0 liter, you're going to be receiving 37.5 inches of headroom, 42.3 inches of legroom. It's a black cloth with contrast stitching, 12-way power adjustment for the driver. Unfortunately, 4-way manual adjustment for the passenger, and it's something that I always complain about, especially when we're starting to get to these price points. However, the styling keeps the modern luxury in the interior, especially for the dashboard. It's still going to be relatively flat, proportion layout, a little bit more on the luxury upscale side. So you're going to have a aluminum inlays around your instrument cluster, matte black for all of the air vents, which kind of wish it was the gloss black because it would have really kind of tied in, especially with this infotainment screen. It's an 8-inch display with high resolution. This is basically a audio system because we don't have navigation. However, you do have your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It is wireless, by the way. AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth connectivities. Switch it to reverse. You do have full trajectory. The lines expand out. Click on the lower button and they do the same thing. It just makes a smaller camera image, and then you can also do a tow. You can also turn those lines off if you like, put it back into park, and it's basically going to be set for your audio sound system. As for the seat setting in it, I feel a little bit more upscale. It kind of feels Acura, which is pretty nice to have that in the Honda line. Elbows are going to be a little bit more sporty. Open up inside here, you got a storage tray. You can take it out and you can adjust it. It's pretty deep with a 12-volt charger as well. You have a sport and an econ mode. You got your brake hold, so when you're at a stoplight, you don't have to continuously hold the brake. Shift-by-wire button structures to put it in reverse or park. Cup holders, you can easily fit, I would say, a 32-ounce, 16.9 ounce with no problem. Open up in here and you got your wireless charging pad and 2 more USB ports. So you're pretty efficient for technology and charging up your technology at that. Leather wrap steering wheel, multifunction with the paddle shifters. The gauge cluster is a digital readout. You can go through an array of information and you can just change it and toggle it however you like. I usually just leave it on the tachometer, just make it nice and easy. We don't have any heads-up display. You would have to go more into the touring to start getting all the bells and whistles. The sound system is an 8-speaker with 180 watts. Standard is a 4-speaker, 160 watts. They do have an upgraded 450-watt 10-speaker and a subwoofer. Unfortunately, we don't have that as well. Door panel, harder materials on the top. You got that brushed aluminum look. One touch up and down for the front windows. They're not dual pane. Storage in the door panel, I would say you can fit about 3 16.9-ounce water bottles. We do have a moonroof, so that way the luxury keeps going, especially when we're looking at the rivals like BMW. I like the interior of this. It does feel a little bit more luxury. It's not going to be as sporty as the BMW, but if you're comparing it to the Toyota or the Kia K5, I like this setup a lot better than the Toyota Camry because the seat structure, I'm just not really happy with the pattern. Let's see how I look in the back. For the back seats, I'm at 37.2 inches of headroom, 40.4 inches of legroom. So When we compare this to the Kia K5, the Toyota Camry maybe, but realistically, this one's going to have the most space for the back seat. It's kind of close to the Camry, I would say, but the BMW is like loads away. So if you're thinking of a family mid-size sedan, this one still packs the performance that you need and has the luxury. We're going to start off with 2 USB ports in the rear. You also have your air vents and storage behind both of the front seats. The floor isn't completely flat. Cup holders in the center can fit about a 20-ounce, 16.9-ounce water bottle. Elbows are going to be super soft on the armrest here. On the door panel, it's a little bit more firm, more sporty, harder materials on the top. Storage in the door panel, I would say you can fit about 2 or 3 16.9-ounce water bottles. So is it efficient? Pretty good so far. I mean, it's more of a grown-up Civic, even though the new Civic is grown up as well. The back seat feels a little bit more calm and kind of darker, more luxury in the back at least. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is going to be an issue because of the way the headliner is. Leg space, absolutely no issue. I'm kind of sort of blocking the air vents and the USB ports, but because there's so much space, you can easily go around it. I am sharing real estate with my feet with the occupants next to me. And also shoulder space is going to be a little bit tight because the seats don't flare out. But for the most part, if you just kind of scoot down like this, you're going to block the air vents completely from the side passengers. You can actually fit 3 adults my size in this. The nice thing about the Honda Accord is you can fit 5 adults my dimensions without too many issues. You really can't do that in a lot of the vehicles. The Kia K5 is going to be a little bit more tight. This feels a little bit more wide in the interior. The Toyota Camry does feel wide. It just, leg space, I feel you have a little bit more leg space in this one. Headroom, I would say you have a little bit more in the Toyota. Comparing it to BMW, this is like night and day difference. I mean, you're going to have a ton of space and you still get performance behind it. Taking the 2022 Honda Accord Sport 2.0 liter out, and I mean 252 horsepower out of this inline 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, which is pretty good whenever you're considering how much of a savings you're getting, that you can even go up to a luxury level of a BMW 330i and it's only a 1/10 of a second slower, so you're not going to really notice a difference. And that's the thing that's pretty impressive about the vehicle, because you're getting all these luxury amenities and you get the performance. I mean, look. And it feels quick. I'm not even in sport mode at the moment. So I do like the fact that we get that. It's going to get a little bit more noisy, but for the most part, it is pretty quiet, even though there's no dual pane windows. The suspension holds itself firmly, and the windscreen, it's opened up pretty well. So that way these A-pillars are not really an eyesore, and I can see pretty much everything, especially the large windows that are pretty much enclosing me. We're going to put it in sport mode and we're going to give her a little go. Here we go. I mean, ever so quick. Obviously we have some upgraded wheels. The suspension is going to be pretty sporty, but it's still smooth, so I like that. You can hear some road noise through the wheel wells and through the windscreen, but for the most part, pretty quiet car. I mean, for an everyday used car, price point that you're at, comparing it to luxury, it's a pretty good deal. Dynamics stays pretty planted. Braking, if I got to do hard brakes, not an issue. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is going to get about 2 in a part lane. Give it some gas. It gets up to speed quick. It does have a bit of a fun factor. I mean, I can see why people do like the 2.0 liter engine, because it has enough kick behind it to set you back. You feel like you're planted relatively well. I mean, you're gonna have to get vehicles that are not as eco-friendly to perform against this to beat it in a 0 to 60. And if you're comparing it to the Toyota Camry, I mean, the TRD is great, but really the only thing that they did is they've fixed the suspension. The engine is just a naturally aspirated V6 that's out of a regular Toyota Camry. Red light, green light, we got it in Econ mode. So let's see, you have to really push the pedal, like significantly. It really does hold it. Change it into sport, night and day difference. That same pushing is already pushing me back. I can feel the torque, which is not overly, but it's pretty good. The seat comfort, it's great. You got the blind spot monitoring. Length of the vehicle, it's going to be pretty long, but it's still under 200 inches, so it's not overly long, it's nothing crazy. Blind spots, I mean, you do have some by that rear window that they've added, because it almost gives like a hatchback design element to it. Even though the back window is super large, it kind of gives a little bit of a blind spot either way. Safety in it, it's telling me to put my hands on the steering wheel, even though my hands were. So again, with Honda, and I've said this in a lot of my reviews, the safety sometimes a little bit overboard, but it's a good thing because it does work. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. 3 things that I like about it is this. I mean, performance on both levels, which is great. The second thing that I like about it is the interior. You have a lot of space. It's pretty comfortable for the most part. Storage could be a little bit better, but for the most part, it works. I mean, you do have enough storage components to get the job done and anything of that nature. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the fact that you get a wireless charger. You get wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You're getting a lot of technology, a lot of safety, performance, and luxury all blended in for a fraction of the price you would pay for luxury. And we're gonna put it in sport. We're gonna lower the gear, stop in the middle of the road like I like to do, and give it some gas. Here we go. It's fast. It's fast, mid 5 seconds 0 to 60. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle is the way this infotainment is pivoted. It's pivoted forward. So what happens is, depending on the way the light is from these windows, because they are large, it can reflect on there and not necessarily give you like a blind spot, but it's going to hit you in your eye. If you have polarized glasses, it's going to help. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is the materials that they use in the center cluster area here. All of this area I would have liked to see maybe like a brush aluminum look or a carbon fiber look, because this is a sport trim, not just a matte black. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle is the torque. 273 pound-feet of torque. Yes, it has the when you push it. However, if it had 300 or right near it, like BMW with the 330i, they're so close to 300 that it's kind of a happy medium. When you start going in the 270s, you start losing a little bit. This is a turbocharge, so you're gonna have a little bit of a lag. So what happens with that lag, especially when you put it on Econ, you can't go hardly anywhere. It's like you have to push it past 2 RPMs. Now when you put it into sport, it's great because it's going to kick up the RPM, it's going to lower the gear to do so, putting it around 22 to 25, so you're already spooled up. So what happens is when you're in sport mode on basically your 0 to 60, you can do that without any issue. But when you're getting onto the highway, it's like you're begging the car to go forward. Definitely a great alternative to the 3. When you're looking at that Toyota Camry, they have a lot of different trims and it can make it a little bit more sporty on the exterior. The interior though, I just am not as satisfied as I would be if I were to pick the Honda Accord. Comparing it to the Kia K5, I like the Kia K5 and what they're doing is great. The fact that they're in a lot of my reviews and everyone's reviews, it just shows you that they are moving forward with dynamics and luxury amenities. BMW 330i just really needs to step up the game. And I say that in the sense of, it's just, I mean, we're in a Honda Accord Sport and we're only 1/10 of a second slower. I'd like to thank Matt here at Regal Honda in Lakeland, Florida for giving us this 2022 Honda Accord Sport 2.0 for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the website, the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Ride.